Spadhisatthana, something like that. I can't even pronounce it properly. So that I get an F for Sanskrit. Hi, would you like to share? Can we sit together? Chipolina loves the yoga blanket. Excuse me, my dear. Pardon me. Thank you. All right. So this second chakra has a lot of elements to it that can be a little, I don't know. I'm going to say challenging to talk about because the chakra itself is represented by our sex organs. So that in itself could be a little bit of a complicated conversation. Um, and one of the elements of this, one of the attributes of this is reproduction, which, that also becomes a really dicey subject because there are plenty of us who have not had children, myself included, right? And sometimes people take that to mean very specifically the having a child, when in fact, we do things, we create things all the time. We um, uh, plan and nurture and grow things all the time. It can be friendships, it can be a business, it can be routines in life, like a self-care routine, which to me, that's a lot about this second chakra, about creating self-care routine. So if that's something that you've been thinking about and sort of, wanting to explore more and or been having challenges in getting used to, this month could be a great month for you to work on that. So the element of this chakra is water, which I love. I've always loved bodies of water, particularly at the ocean or the sea. I'm also a big fan of swimming pools. Not a huge fan of lakes just because there are like too many things swimming around in there. I don't know what I'm meeting up with, like algae and frogs and but bodies of water. So this chakra is a fluid chakra. But the funny thing is about this chakra is just as the first chakra, it's a tamasic chakra. So it does move slowly. So when it comes to bodies of water, it's not like Niagara Falls, right? It's not tons of water crashing down. It's really and once again, if you think about the lotus and how the lotus floats on the top of the water is usually very calm. That lotus is just floating on top of it. So that might be sort of where we are, kind of floating on the top. These nails are dragging right into my legs. So we're coming up from that root. So that root we had last month into the water where we're surfacing, we're beginning to surface, we're beginning to be in community with others, right? Specifically, once again, in this conversation of being related through a physical sense with people, very primal, really no language still involved in this. The petal of this lotus is a 6-petaled lotus. And what's inside the lotus, once again, is a downturned triangle, is one of the symbols. But another one is a weird symbol that supposedly sort of is the male and female coming together, right? Once again, we need to open that up because that's not where we live in this universe anymore, or strictly. We have a much more open interpretation of what it is to be in community, in relationship, in a very primal kind of way. So expand it, because none of us is having a kid anytime in the near future, right? None of us is ever having kids ever again. We know that. But we are constantly thinking about new things we want to do, new projects, or maybe it's something we want to do in the home or outside the home, stuff that we want to develop. And this is where this stuff is going to develop. So water, the 6-petaled lotus, the color of this chakra is orange. So you may sort of think about an orange color surrounding your lower body. And then finally, the two things. One is that the sense that is attributed to this chakra is taste, tasting. So you might think about that during the course of this month. And finally, the sound. So to me, sound really connects to me. So the sound of this chakra is vam, V-A-M, vam. So as we get rolling, we'll listen to that. Please feel free, you're on mute. Please feel free to practice the sound as well for yourself and see if you notice that the vibration kind of aligns in any way. All right. So with that said, sitting up in a seated position on block, blanket, towel, anything, closing your eyes, letting your gaze soften down, whatever feels best for you. And I'd like you from your shoulders just to slowly sway from side to side, very slowly, thinking to me the idea of low tide, right? Where the water goes out very slowly, quietly, comes back in with a very gentle roll. So as if you were just moving in the water, and I'm sure we've all had the experience of being in the water and that what it feels like to be moving your limbs in the water. And particularly not in a swimming kind of way, but just like, oh, I'm just treading water, I'm hanging out with my friends in the water, I'm feeling the the water against my body. And if you feel comfortable or you'd like to, you can also do that same movement, kind of going in and out, forward and back. And it might be kind of like a cow cat sort of movement. So you might come forward, reaching your chest forward. And as you come back, just like the tide, kind of rounding in. So going forward and rounding back and in. So these are just suggestions. So whatever it is that's kind of calling to you that makes you feel watery, makes you feel fluid, makes you feel flowy, right? And maybe that color of that orange surrounding your lower, just below your navel, really, just below your navel. And thinking of that six-petaled lotus and the sound of vam, vam. And then as you settle into this centered place, take a moment to find your breath and direct your inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, and start to think about an intention for yourself. And it may have something to do with this second chakra and beginning to develop stuff. It may have something to do with just being more fluid. It may have something to do with thinking about your self-care and kinds of things that what self-care might look like for you and what you'd like to maybe direct yourself into in the next coming month with that. And then as you settle in, I'm going to chant the sound of Vam. And please feel free if you'd like to chant along and see once again if that sort of hits. Feel the vibration just a little bit underneath the belly button. Breathing in. Vam, 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 vam. Vam, 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 vam. Vam, 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 vam. Let that vibration settle in. Take a deep breath in and exhale. We'll begin our practice with the sound of Om, chanting once, taking an easy breath in. Om. So from here, let's come to lie down on the mat facing up, moving things off to the side. And as you come to lie down, just extend the legs long and bring your legs really close together. Think of a mermaid and how the hips are wide and then they taper down into the feet and little tail there. And then inhale and lift your arms up and overhead to the floor behind you. And hold on to your left wrist with your right hand and begin to take your left arm over to the right side and let your legs squeezed in together slide over into the right side. So most of your body is still on the floor. So we're not taking this so far over that we lift up the body off the floor. But we are looking for nice lengthening going down the left side with a little sense of squeeze on the right side. And as you keep squeezing the legs in towards each other, feel that your gluteal muscles start to draw in and up, and then gently sort of pull up from the lower body in towards the navel and feel that space beginning to get a little more activated. That's the spot that we're looking for, just below the belly button, but just above the pelvis. Breathing in and breathing out. Breath in, breath out, and one more. And then as you exhale, come back into the center. Bring your legs long, drawing the legs in towards each other. Then taking the right wrist with the left hand and beginning to pull that right arm over to the left side and sliding the legs over just a bit to the left side. So we're getting that lengthening going down the right side without lifting too much off the floor. Your right shoulder might not be on the floor, but most of your body is. And holding here, breathing here, directing your breath into the right side of your body. But as you exhale, really pulling up from that lower, that root chakra, up in towards just below the belly button. Breathing in and breathing out. Taking another breath. And then as you exhale, coming back into the center, and then bring your arms down and let your knees come into your hands. So one knee in each hand. Start to circle the knees away from each other. And they could be small circles, they could be bigger circles, just sort of following your own need here. Feel the fluidity here. So breathe, exhale, move slowly, and make sure that that movement is a really simple, easy, rounded movement. And then begin to take it in the other direction, circling in the other way. Good. And then bring your feet to the floor with your knees bent. Separate your feet as wide as your yoga mat and bring your knees to touch. Your hands could be anywhere. In fact, maybe slide your hands just below the navel, just to connect to that space. Then inhale, let your knees just slowly fall to the right side. Exhale, take the knees over to the left side. So keeping the feet wide, kind of thinking of your legs as waves, very gently landing on the beach from one side to the other side. And trying to find that same fluid movement, no jagged movements, just very easy, flowing, moving sensation. Find your way back into the center with those knees. And gently draw your chin in towards your collarbone and begin to rock a bit forward. And then bring it back down. And we don't have to go forcefully. Make this movement also just very gentle and fluid. And we don't have to lift up this way. And if this is not feeling good in your spine, of course, you don't have to do this. But if you're feeling okay, explore this movement, rolling up and back, rolling up and back. If you feel like you can come up this way, please feel free to, or just roll to the side. Either way is fine. We'll find our way into table with the hands and knees underneath the hips and shoulders respectively. And instead of doing cow and cat today, we're going to start with a rocking movement of the hips from side to side. Rocking from the right to the left. Moving at your own pace, but trying once again to slow it down. Remember, this is once again, a tamasic chakra. So it's a slower moving chakra, more thoughtful, more mindful. Feel the movement where it's happening, what else is moving as you do. And then walk your fingertips a little further forward and begin to circle your hips forward and round back. Make this as big a movement as you feel comfortable doing. So you might start small and just simple circles, rounding forward, rounding back. And then you can take it deeper, rounding more forward, rounding more back. So follow your own. And by the way, if this starts to feel in any way like weird or awkward, acknowledge that, notice it, right? If it feels really pleasurable and maybe sensual, notice that. Be aware of any kind of judgment or criticism you may have, and try not to fall into the story. Circle in the other direction now. Just let your body enjoy the movement. And if it's not super enjoyable, see if there's something that you can do that's similar that feels more enjoyable. So this chakra is actually a lot about feeling and sensation and sensuality, and that doesn't have to be sexuality, that can be feeling, the physical sensation of feeling, right? Good. Come back into the center. And then from here, slide yourself forward to lie down on the mat, facing down. Bring your hands directly underneath your forehead and take a moment just to rock your hips gently from side to side. Feel your hips pressing lightly down into the floor as you hold and move, breathe. And then come back into the center and bring your elbows so that they're directly underneath your shoulders, setting up into a Sphinx pose. And as you set up into your Sphinx pose, try to press your thighs a bit downward and squeeze them in slightly as you press your hips extra into the floor. And feel your root chakra, the gluteal muscles, the tail, get more active. And then from there, pull your navel in and up and find that space just below the navel as you hold here. Lift your chin so it's parallel to the floor and ceiling, and press your forearms into the floor. So this should feel like some work, some effort. If you get crampy in your toes, you can always move your toes around and still keep the rest of the lower body contracted. Breath in. As you exhale, find your way into a wide knee child's pose. So big toes touch, knees come almost as wide as the yoga mat, and you reach your seat back. And from here, let's reach those hands out really far. Get that nice sensation in the shoulders as you rest your forehead to the mat. And then thinking of that lower two chakras and the reddish earth and the orange that lifts up from there. Feel your lower body surrounded by that. orangey and reddish colored lower body colors. And then find your way back into table. Walk your fingertips forward and tuck your toes under and lift up into downward facing dog. Start with your knees slightly bent and push the floor away. And today, what I'd like you to do is swing your right knee into center and then open it out. Swing the left knee into center and round it out. So I want you to do a little movement at the hip that's done, starting from your knee as you're in down dog, bringing the knee to the center and rounding it out. Knee crossing the midline, rounding it out. Good. And then start to walk your feet towards the front of your mat. When you get there, you're going to be in a forward fold. And from your forward fold, just let your arms dangle down and try to lift your seat up a little bit more. Shake the head gently, nod the head gently, open your mouth, move the jaw around. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to slowly roll up through a rounded spine, letting head and shoulders be the last thing to arrive. Good. Inhale, lift the arms out and up. And as you exhale, gently draw the navel to the spine and dive forward over the legs. Inhale and lift up to a flat back from that same spot underneath the navel. And exhale, release the hands back down. Then inhale and sweep the arms all the way out and lift up. And exhale, bring your arms back by your side. Inhale again, lifting arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive over the legs from your navel. So imagine that the navel is kind of your center point. Inhale and lift up to a flat back. And exhale and release. And inhale, sweep the arms all the way out and lift up. And exhale, bring the arms back by your side. Inhale, lift arms out and up. And exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale to step your right foot back. And exhale to downward facing dog. And now today what we're going to do is we're going to inhale and round our spine up as we come into plank. And exhale, lift up from the navel and round back into down dog. Inhale, round the spine as you come forward into plank. And exhale, round up and take it back. One more time. Inhale, rounding from up to come forward to plank, and exhale, zipping up from that midline, rounding back to down dog. Inhale, coming forward one last time to plank, and as you exhale, just let your knees fall to the mat. Inhale and untuck your toes, and as you exhale, we're going to lower the rest of the way down. Inhale, glide the shoulder blades down the back, and as you exhale, keep your lower body on the floor and just come into a small cobra. And then exhale into quick child's pose for one big breath. And exhale, coming back all the way to downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the right leg up and back. And exhale, bring the foot between the hands. If you have yoga blocks, grab your yoga block and then inhale and lift the right arm out and up. Try to squeeze your right knee just a bit in towards the midline. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale again. And as you exhale, bring the right hand down. Inhale, lift your hips a little higher. And exhale, step that left foot forward as you fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale and release. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way out and lift up. And exhale, bring arms back by your side. Inhale to lift arms out and up. And exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale, step the left foot back. And exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, round up from the shoulders, pull the navel and underneath the navel up as you come forward into plank. Straighten out your plank once you're there, and then pull in and up as you exhale back to down dog. Inhale, rounding forward and lifting up as you come into plank. And exhale, rounding up and back to down dog. And then one more time, inhale, coming forward. And exhale to go back. Then inhale one more time forward. And as you exhale, let your knees fall to the floor. Inhale, untuck your toes and zip up from that midline. And as you exhale, try to lower nose and belly at the same time. Going slowly, Tamasic. Inhale, glide those shoulder blades back down. And as you exhale, push up again into a small cobra. So letting the lower chakras stay connected to the ground. And then exhale into child's pose. One big breath. Back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up and back. Exhale, bring the foot between the hands. Inhale, lifting the hips up higher. And exhale, stepping the right foot forward and flow. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale and release. Inhale, sweep arms all the way out and up. And exhale, arms by your side. Good. All right, so there's a little flowing component to this. So let's play around with that a little bit. Inhale, lift arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale, right foot back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale into that rounded plank. And then exhale, either lowering the knees first or lowering all the way down slowly. Inhale, untucking the toes, gliding shoulders down the back, and lift up into a small or medium cobra, still keeping the lower chakras connected. Exhale into that child's pose for one big breath. Rounding up as you come into your downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the right leg up and back. And exhale, bring the foot between the hands. Inhale to your fingertips. And exhale, step that left foot forward as you fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale and release. Inhale, sweep arms out and up. Exhale, arms by your side. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale, right, left foot back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, rounded plank to come forward into your plank. Exhale, either holding plank, lowering knees, or lowering all the way down. Inhale, untuck the toes if you're down or stay in plank. And exhale, lift up small or medium cobra. Exhale to child's pose, one big breath. And then downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up and back. And exhale, bring that left foot between the hands. And I owe you this from before. So inhale, lift that left arm out and up. Try to hug that left knee gently in towards your midline, breathing in. Take one more. Bring that left hand down and step that right foot forward. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale and release. Inhale, sweep arms all the way out and up. Exhale, bring your hands into prayer at heart center and pour your weight into your right leg. Inhale, lift the left knee forward and up. Exhale, take the left toes back. Inhale, lift arms up, high lunge. Exhale and open to warrior two. Inhale, lift both arms and straighten both legs and turn your toes to face the left side. And then exhale into goddess pose. So knees will go out and elbows are in cactus arms. Inhale, lift arms out and up, and exhale back to warrior two. Inhale, reach back for peaceful warrior. Exhale, hands down to frame the front foot. Inhale to plank. Exhale, either holding plank or lowering down. Inhale, either holding plank or lifting up. Exhale, child's pose, one breath. Exhale, rounding up into your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up and back. Exhale, bend the right knee. And then inhale and open that right knee up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring that right foot outside the right hand. Inhale, lift your hips up higher. And exhale, step that left foot outside the left hand. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way out and up. And exhale, turning your toes out and coming hands to prayer heart center, start to sink down into whatever variation of squat works for you. Could be high, could be low. Breath in. Exhale, hands to the floor. Lengthen your legs as you turn your toes to face forward, lifting up from the seat and start to heel toe your feet closer together. Inhale, lift up to a flat back. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweep arms all the way out and lift up. And exhale, hands come back into prayer at heart center. Start to pour your weight into the left leg and inhale to lift the right knee forward and up. Exhale, take the right foot all the way back. Inhale, lift the arms out and up. Exhale, open to warrior two. Inhale, lift both arms, straighten both legs, and turn your toes to face the right side. As you exhale, bring your heels to face each other as you come into your goddess pose, letting your knees travel over the second toes. Pull the navel in towards the spine, right? Good, nice. Inhale, lift back up. And exhale to warrior two with that left knee in front. Inhale, reach back, peaceful warrior. Right arm down the right leg. Exhale, hands down to frame the front foot, spinning onto the toes of that right foot. Step back into plank, either holding plank or exhaling to lower down slowly. Inhale, either holding plank or lifting up into a small or medium cobra, still staying low to the ground. And then exhale into that child's pose for one big breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the left leg up and back. Exhale, bend the knee. And then inhale, open that knee up. Hold here and breathe. As you exhale, bring that left foot outside the left hand. Inhale to lift your hips a little higher. And exhale, stepping that right foot outside the right hand. Inhale to lift arms all the way out and up. And exhale, turning your toes out, come into your squat. And once again, that squat could be quite high or medium or low, whatever works for you. You want to keep your chest lifted and your knees traveling over the second toes. Breath in. As you exhale, bring your hands to the floor, lift your seat up, drawing your head towards the floor. Heel toe your feet closer together. Then inhale to your flat back. Exhale and release. Inhale, sweep arms all the way out and up. And exhale. Hands back into prayer at heart center. And take a moment here. Before we move, close your eyes or let your gaze soften down. With your hands in prayer at heart center, just notice sensations that you're feeling. Notice also areas where you may be feeling like you're holding any tension, particularly in the lower chakras. Good. Inhale to lift the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale to step the right foot back. And exhale to downward facing dog. Let your knee travel into the center and circle out. Let the other knee travel into the circle and circle out. So a weird kind of movement. And then come forward into that rounded plank. And then bring your knees to the floor. Separate your knees a little wider than your hips. And keep your hips directly over your knees as you start to walk your hands forward and bring your chest to the floor. So as you bring your chest to the floor, concentrate on the sensation that's going on in your lower body. There's a lot of stuff going on in the upper body for sure, but if we think about this pose, it's really kind of an awkward looking pose in many ways. So embrace that. Notice your thoughts and physical feelings about this pose and make any adjustments. You might like to do a little rocking movement here. You might like to do like a small kind of cow and cat at the pelvis, the hips here. You might like to just hold here, or you might like to come into a wide knee child's pose. So if you're feeling like you'd like to come into a wide knee child's pose, please do. Good. We're all going to come into a wide knee child's pose now. So if you haven't already, and see what you'd like to do with your arms. You might like to just bring your hands directly underneath your forehead with your elbows out to the side, just to give your shoulders a little bit of a break. Let the energy of your lower body disperse into the floor. Release, relax. Open your mouth, move the jaw around a little. One more breath here. And then start to bring your hands underneath your shoulders and come to lift up. Slide your legs out in front of you. Bring your feet together with your knees apart. If your knees are really fairly high off the floor, please feel free to bring a pair of blocks or blankets, pillows or something underneath the knees so that you don't have to struggle to keep them comfortable. Bring your hands onto your toes and keep your elbows inside and come to round forward here. Eyes closed or eyes open. Notice where you feel sensation here. Good. Slowly begin to roll back up and sit up kind of tall and move those blocks just out of the side there. Fold your left leg over your right leg and take your left knee out to the side. bring your right shin to face into the center of your mat with your right foot flexed. Now, at the very beginning, we talked about mermaids. So we're going to take that right forearm out to the right side and reach that left arm up and over. So kind of finding this little bit of a mermaid kind of situation here, similar to a Pilates, except we're not going to move. We're just going to hold this. So try to press into your whole right forearm so that your right shoulder doesn't creep up towards your ear. Breathing into the left side of your ribs as you get a little more roundness here. Take one more breath. And as you exhale, come up through center gently. If you have a yoga block, grab that block. And it could come in front of your knee or in front of your shin. And it could be on a higher or medium or low level. But give yourself a little support at the neck by resting your forehead there. And from here, take your palms, try to bring your elbows alongside you here, and bring your palms to face up. So generally, when we have our palms facing up, it's a symbol of being welcoming, bringing in. It could also be a symbol of giving something away. It could be a little bit of both, right? So I know that in some cultures, the right hand takes things and the left hand gives things away. So that could be something that's going on, right? So with this palms facing up, think about what it is. Do you need to give something away? Do you have to let go of anything? Do you have to shift your thinking about some of your most foundational needs? Think about what you'd like to bring in. Do you need to think about bringing in more self-care, more ease, more gentleness, more flow to your body, to yourself? Notice how the rest of your body is settling into this pose. And if there's any energy that you need to release, feel it just releasing into the floor. Start to bring your hands back underneath your shoulders and lift your chest up. Move your block to the side and bring your feet back together again with your knees apart. But this time we're going to slide the feet further out in front for Tarasana, star pose. And the interesting thing about star pose is that while a star you typically find in the sky, this star is very close to the floor, right, Chipolino? So it might be more like a starfish, right? Which you find by the sea. So reach forward and bring those elbows outside the shins and find your little star and see if that star is closer to the ground or maybe flying overhead. Notice your breath. Release that and slowly slide your feet back in towards you. Fold your right leg over your left. Take that right knee out to the side and shift the left shin more to the center. Bring your left forearm to the floor. Press into that whole forearm so you create space between the ear and shoulder, and then reach your right arm over. Feel that big roundedness in the ribs, that sensation of expansion in the right side of the body. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Feel your cat's claws on your ribs. Good. Push the floor away with that forearm, but round in. Beautiful. Come back into the center, and same thing. Find where you want to fold forward in this pigeon variation here. Your block could be in front of your knee, in front of your shin. It could be high, it could be medium, it could be low. Once again, turn your palms to face up and maybe reach your palms a little further forward now. Soften from the upper body and let that travel downward. Imagine that orange mist surrounding your navel and below. So as we start to lift up from the earth, we begin to get a little more color, a little more vibrancy. Not that there isn't a lot of vibrancy in the earth, it's just that it's beginning to take on a different shape now. It's beginning to have some shape. And it's beginning to move and have some fluidity to it. So as you hold here and breathe here, see if you can reconnect with the intention that you set at the beginning of practice. Long inhales. And let any negative feelings or sensations just melt into the floor. Let them just flow away from you. And then begin to bring your hands back underneath your shoulders and lift yourself up. And come back to lie down on the mat, but have one of your yoga blocks with you. We're going to set up as if we were going to do bridge. We are going to do bridge, but we're going to do a kind of a flowing kind of bridge. So bring your feet so that they're directly underneath your knees and grab your yoga block on the lowest level, flat level, and slide that underneath your sacrum. So that's actually part of the site of this chakra, is the sacrum, the sacral chakra. Make sure that you feel pretty comfortable on that yoga block. And then we're going to inhale. As you exhale, press into your feet and lift yourself off of that block. Then as you inhale, lower back down to the block. And then exhale, bring your knees up towards you. Bring your feet off the floor. Bring your feet back down to the floor. Lift up into bridge. Lower down from bridge. Lift knees back up. Now, of course, if this isn't feeling right for you in your body, don't have to do it. But if you're feeling okay, let's lower those feet down. Lift up into bridge. Lower down from bridge. Lift knees up. Feet back down. Lift up bridge. Lower down. Lift knees up. And let's do that 2 more times. Lower feet down. Lift up. Lower bridge down. Bring knees up. Lower feet down. Lift up bridge. Lower bridge down. Bring knees up. Take a moment here, and if you'd like to, maybe do a little small rocking movement from side to side on that yoga block. Good. Then come back into the center. Lift back up and slide the block out of your way. Lower hips back down, and once again, touch your knees together and separate your feet a little wider, maybe almost as wide as the yoga mat. Let your arms be anywhere that feels nice for you. So relaxing the shoulders into the floor, holding with the knees together and feet wide. Checking in at the jaw, opening the mouth, moving the jaw around. And let your knees fall slowly to the right side. And then slowly to the left side. And then as you come into center, open both knees out and bring your feet together. And if you happen to have your yoga blocks nearby, you can slide those yoga blocks right underneath your legs so that you can hold those legs up without any effort. If this is comfortable for you, you can stay here for your Shavasana. If you're not comfortable here for any reason, find your way into a different spot for Shavasana. Think about the flowing of a gentle water moving very, very slowly and softly. Direct your attention to that space just below your navel and imagine that surrounded by orange colored mist. Feel free to use your hands to connect more with that space. And we'll do our squared breathing practice from here. So we'll start by taking an inhale through the nose and exhale. And then we'll begin to inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breath in. Hold. Breath out. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. and release. And as you release, I'll chant the sound of Vam for you again. Please feel free to sound out the sound for yourself if you'd like to see if it connects to that chakra at all. Breath in. Vam, 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 vam. Vam, 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 vam. Vam, 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 vam. Bring your hands to the outside edges of your legs and gently bring your knees back in towards each other. Move your blocks off to the side so you won't feel like they're in the way, and gently hug your knees in towards your chest. Circle at the ankles. Move your toes. So this chakra is dominated by the moon. So tonight we're going to roll over to the left side. So roll to your left side. That's your moon side. It's your feminine side. Just take a moment there. Appreciate the effort that you put into your practice. Feel the benefits of the practice and see what so far from this chakra resonates for you and what doesn't. See how the month progresses. If you'd like to, you can come back to a seated position or come back to your lying down position if you prefer. Allow your eyes to close or let your gaze soften down. And bring one hand just below your navel and the other hand in front of your heart and hold here. Let's take one more breath in together. And exhale. And we'll seal the practice with the sound of Om chanting once, taking an easy breath in. Om. Thank you all so much. Namaste. Have a lovely evening, everyone.